All right, there we go. I'm live. So, hello and welcome. If it's your first time here, I'm going to give you a little rundown of like what I do necessarily in these videos. I normally come up with an idea and then I work my way through the idea in these videos, like as I'm talking and like discussing and everything. um, Normally I talk about video games, but today I'm going to be talking about something that I've been thinking about quite a bit recently, especially with like two bad Disney remakes coming out in the same year, um, or I guess live action, I guess you should say, but either or whatever you want to call them. We had two come out this year. They've been fucking shitty, and I want to work through why because it feels like the Disney Corporation is setting themselves on fire, but the Disney Corporation is a large corporation full of very smart people that know how to run a business. And I don't believe that they're just lighting money on fire. Well, actually, to an extent, I do believe they're lighting money on fire, but I believe they're writing it off as a advertisement business expense, I guess, in the long run, you could say. And I'm going to work through all of that and everything and pull up some evidence and everything to actually back up my point, which I normally don't do. Normally, I just go based off of experience because I have like a lot of knowledge in the video game world, but I can't tell you that Disney makes like most of their money here when not actually over here without actual solid proof. So I'm going to be doing that. But I'm gonna go ahead and title our little circle here. Let's get a little bit. Yeah, let's do 20. Oh no, sorry you had to see that. Why Disney remakes are so bad? Why, oh no, not are. Why are? Sorry, Actman fucking channeled himself through me there for a minute. We'll fucking center that shit. There we go. Why Disney remakes are so bad. So to get into it first, the first thing I have to do is I've actually got to go over here to Gronk and ask it a few questions. And I know switching through all this, it's going to get a little like buggy, and my computer's going to freak out, and it's going to get a little glitchy. So please bear with me. But first question I need to ask is, how much does the Disney Corporation? Oh, need to spell check that because I'm retarded. Make make in revenue from their movies. All right, let the AI work its magic there. Search through some stuff. I will also be leaving a link to like all the AI and everything, like what you call it, uh, like it's links and like it's web pages and everything in the description. So if you want to go through them all, you can. I probably will go through them all later. So as we see right here, Disney was the top studio globally, accounting for 25% of the domestic box office market. That was not what I asked, though. Okay, I need to ask the question better. What percentage of the overall Disney Corporation's revenue is from their movies? Okay, so now in fiscal 2024, the Walt Disney Corporation total revenue was 991.4 billion. The global box office revenue from Disney's movies, as reported, was 5.46 billion. This represents approximately 6% of the company's overall revenue. So you see that right there? 6% of Disney's overall revenue. That right there. That is why they are tanking their movies, because their movies don't make them money. Their movies are advertisements, and they've always been advertisements. Anyone that knows anything about the Disney Corporation knows that they make. Here, I'll even show you. I'll give the AI a chance to answer for me. How does the Disney Corporation make most of its money? Streaming services, television and content licensing, theatrical releases, which we did say is 6%, which it is a percentage of that, parks, experiences, products, ESPN. All of these other revenue sources is where Disney actually makes their money. So now that we've established that, I can actually come back over here to my chart, which is where the brunt of our video actually is here. So here is what happens when Disney comes out with a remake, a reboot, a live action, they do something politically charged in a movie. They do any time Disney ends up in the news or in like any type of controversy. This is like specifically when it comes to a movie release. I want to specify that when it comes to a movie release, if they're in hot water under anything else, that's a miscalculation. That's not under. They didn't mean for that to happen. But so Disney comes out with a remake, right, or a reboot, or a fucking live action, like the Lilo and Stitch one here. People go and see it. It's terrible. It's shitty. It's literally nothing like the original. So they take to the media and they tell everybody how bad it is, right? So you would think this is a bad thing. Most people think this is a bad thing. You go to the media, you tell everybody it's shitty, no one goes and sees the movie, nobody supports it, bad movie, it goes away, right? Well, that's not what exactly happens. What happens is they go and take to social media and they tell everybody that it's a shitty movie and everything else like that. And either their children go and see it beforehand and tell their parents about the movie. And that also is part of this part of the cycle right here, where the child will go and see the movie on their own and then come back and tell their parents about the bad movie. Sorry, that's my shitty drawing of a child telling their parent about the bad Lilo and Stitch movie. Um, so this part happens, right? And then what immediately happens is people want to hit at that original. They remember the feeling of the original. They want to go back and experience it, or they want to see the differences, or they want to inform their child that just watched a shitty movie about the good movie that they originally had nostalgia for and actually love and want to like their children to love and everything else like that. So what happens? They got to show their children the movie. And the only way to do that is to either pay a little bit of money to the Disney Corporation through buying the movie physically or buying it through a streaming service. So now you've gone on to this part. You've gone to either capture your little bit of nostalgia, so you paid $15 for Disney Plus, or you paid $15 for the actual physical copy, or you've gone to show your children what an actual good movie is, and you've moved on to this part of the section and you paid $15 to the Disney Corporation for Disney Plus, or you paid $15 for the physical release. Either way, Disney makes their money. The only way they don't make the money is if you already own the copy of the movie, in which case you win, and they technically win because they already got the money from you forever ago. But what you do is you allow for the next part of the cycle to happen. And I call it a cycle. It's more of a straight line because there's not an actual Ouroboros like eating part here. But like you've created a fan. You now have a bonding experience with your child that they now have nostalgia for. You've created another generation of Disney fan that will now buy Disney merch and go to Disney parks. So now, all because they lost $5 million, or what was it? I think it was $5 billion or something like that. Actually, here, I'll go back over and I'll actually look so I can prove my point. So, because you lost $5 billion out of your 9.1 or 991 billion, And you haven't even actually lost that. Actually, this is what they earned. This isn't actually what they lost in it. Actually, normally they lose what is it, like a couple $1 million, and then they still make money back. So you essentially put an advertisement out that you make money back on. So it's not even a full loss. So you still make a little bit of money. And because you put out a bad product that rips on the nostalgia of an actual good product that you once put out, you have now created a whole new generation of fans and consumers to buy your products and pay for your services. So essentially, by putting out a bad product, you have now essentially created legions of fans to buy your good products. And I know that doesn't necessarily sound like good business sense and everything, but when you look at the numbers literally on paper between the difference of how much they make from just releasing a movie to how much they make by selling streaming services and selling you t-shirts and selling you park tickets and everything in between, it's hard to say that they're not doing this. Like, it's almost like a logical conclusion to come to, you know? Like, okay, I put out this bad advertisement, and then the cycle begins. And then people pick it up, they talk shit about it, they move on, they fucking, like I said, it goes all the way through. And I think I'm just going to keep harping on this idea over and over again. So I really want to kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I had a bit more to actually add to the conversation than just this. Um, I feel like this is gross, and I feel like we're all doing it to ourselves. I think is the overall point of this video that I really wanted to get across is that when it gets to this part right here, like the Disney Corporation is evil here, right? And they're evil here. But this is the part where we're punching ourselves in the face. We keep picking up these movies and TV shows, and here I'm just gonna try to prove my point little bit. I'm gonna talk, try to make it entertaining. You know, that whole kit and caboodle. I should have had this up to actually prove my point. But anyone who knows my channel knows that these videos aren't edited and they kind of suck. So I'm just gonna type in Lilo and Stitch. So first thing, an actual ad to buy or rent the movie, huh? Okay, Hawaiian roller coaster ride. I think that's because I've been listening to this song quite a bit. And then trailer. It's bad. Watch the full movie. Sponsored. Lilo and Stitch, but Disney ruined it. Okay, this is because of me. I've been listening to this song on repeat because I fucking suck and I have problems where if I have a song stuck in my head, I have to listen to it over and over again. But yikes. Full episodes. Full episodes. So what we see here, people capturing their nostalgia, me recapturing my nostalgia, people capturing their nostalgia, people recapturing their nostalgia, people allowed to pay money to recapture their nostalgia, people bashing the original or the remake, watch the full movie. I guess this is an advertisement. Bashing the new movie, bashing the new movie, bashing the new movie. Like I said, we keep doing this cycle to ourselves and we keep letting the Disney Corporation win. And they'll keep making these bad movies over and over again because we're not like the sentiment is vote with your wallet, right? But how can you vote with your wallet when they both own the thing that's bad and the thing that you love that's good? You know, like how can you vote with your wallet to boycott these remakes when it actually incentivizes Disney more to come out with these remakes so that way you will spend more money to recapture the nostalgia that you once had. So the only way to actually combat this, instead of talking about it and everything else, is to do one of two things. To either stop doing what I'm doing right now and stop paying attention to it. Like people like me right now on the internet making videos about it and everything else. Or, which, and that's never going to happen because we're incentivized to do it. Like, I literally was thinking about doing this video because I think it will get views and everything else, and people will come here and watch it and fucking agree with my point and then wake up and see and like be like, oh shit, oh wow, the Disney Corporation really is doing this. We need to back off, guys. So, one, that's not going to happen. Content creators are never going to stop like reviewing stuff. Fox News is never going to stop doing that. Kids aren't going to stop going and seeing movies without their parents. Like shit like that's just never going to stop happening. The other part is to stop buying Disney products altogether, which is also never going to happen because how like your kid comes to you and they tell you about the bad Lilo and Stitch remake, and your immediate reaction is always, especially if you're a fan, is going to be a visceral one where you immediately try to enlighten them on how much better the original movie is. Fighting that natural response is so actually hard for anyone to do. It's more than just not spending money. It's cut this sliver of yourself and your childhood off and not experience it with your child and make them have their own experience with that same thing, but worse. It's like watching your child punch themselves in the face and having to be okay with it, you know? And it's no one's going to do that. So they've essentially trapped us in a loop where they're allowed to come out with these bad movies nonstop. And we just have to deal with this cycle of, unfortunately, until eventually people stop being Disney fans. Because until you're not a Disney fan, you're trapped in this loop. And that's the unfortunate truth. And they got most of us hooked because they're integrated into most of our childhoods. Like we have full on people that label their personality as Disney adults in our generation. And yes, they are cringe, but that is how deep this corporation has sunk themselves into our personalities and our everyday lives. And there's no removing that because it's like generations. It's not even my generation. It's not even my parents' generation. It's my parents' parents' generation that started this insidious tendril. So I think that's all I really got for this. This was actually a lot more like of a clear, concise video than I thought it was going to be. Uh, my videos are a bit all over the place normally, anyways. But if you agree with me, leave a like. If you disagree with me, dislike. Tell me how retarded I am in the comments, if you want to. But other than that, I think that's all I got today. So